Hey, this is John with NEXoutdoors. Just doing a little cooking today. Well, preparation for cooking. I got a deer a couple of weeks ago and I had some scrap venison left over. A lot of people try to figure out what to do with their scrap venison. As you know, a lot of people make jerky or just grind it up into burger. I'm actually taking my scrap venison and I'm going to turn it into tenderloins. I'm sure you're going, what? How's he going to turn scrap meat into tenderloin? Well, there's a food chemical. You know, you hear the word chemical, it doesn't sound that great, but this is derived from seaweed. It is a glutamate, so anybody that's allergic to glutamates, such as MSG, not all people are. It's actually not that bad for you. The glutamate that I'm using today isn't bad for you at all, unless you are allergic to glutamates. So take that into consideration. It's called transglutaminase, or it's also known as meat glue. So what I'm doing is I'm grinding up these little bits of meat. I actually put some bacon in there too, just for a little added flavor, which is cool because now, you know, a lot of people do bacon wrap fillets. I don't have to wrap my fillets. But I ground up my meat scraps and my bacon and added a good deal amount of this meat glue. And I'll show you what that looks like here in a second. And then through a process of rolling it up in plastic wrap and allowing it to sit in my refrigerator, the meat glue actually binds the proteins together and creates one solid piece of meat. So if you take your meat scraps and you grind them up almost into a paste, and you take your transglutaminase, and I know this sounds disgusting, but I tell you it tastes awesome, it looks really nice, and you get a great cut of meat out of leftovers. So let me show you what I'm doing here real quick. Set my camera down. Alright. So this is transglutaminase, or meat glue. As you can see, it's a white powder. I'm wearing gloves for safety reasons. I got bits of meat on there, but you never know if you have a cut or something. It's just always safe when you're using this stuff to take precaution as to not bind your own proteins together. I'm sure you know you can just wash your hands, but better safe than sorry, I guess. So it's a flavorless, scentless powder, which is derived from seaweed. It's completely harmless, and it does some really cool stuff. So I've already actually taken that. You want to be pretty liberal with it. I've bound bacon on the outside of a scallop and then bound that inside of chicken before. You can use this to make casingless sausages, all sorts of different kinds of things. You know, you can fuse just completely different kinds of meat together. But one of my favorite applications is taking cheap cuts of meat or scrap meat and using it to create, you know, prime cuts. So I've already ground up my venison and my bacon and added my transglutaminase. So here's the finished product. Well, not the finished product. Here's the product before I put it in a tubular form. So as you can see, it just looks like regular meat. The white bits in there, that's bacon. So let me show you how I roll it up here. So you guys can get a handle on how to do that.
Is the best way to listen to personalized radio. Upgrade to Pandora One for just $3.99 per month. Click on the banner to learn more.
Alright, so I've got my ball of meat here. I'm going to just make it a little bit longer, like a loaf. And I've got a piece of plastic wrap right here. So you set it down like that. Carefully grab your edge of plastic, fold it over, and start pressing it down into a tube form and roll it up. Grab the ends of your plastic wrap like this and simply roll it across like that, across your countertop, pinching the sides like so, and they start twisting and pushing the meat together, creating a tightly bound tube. Now as you can see, right here I've got some air, with the air pockets, you're simply going to take the tip of your knife and just prick the holes like that. Just go around, prick out any air pockets that you might have. And then roll it up, and the meat will actually fill up those spaces. I like to take a second piece of plastic just to create a little bit tighter bind, because as this sits in the fridge, your proteins are going to be binding together. So you want as tight of a bind as you can get if you want to have a tenderloin or a sausage or whatever. You can fuse, different kinds of fish together, all different kinds of meat, and you could layer them and actually make pretty cool for presentation or just different flavor combinations. So there's your tube of meat right there. Just tuck the ends on the side like that. As you can see, I've done up 3. Now, for the meat glue to work, it needs a minimum of 16 hours to sit in refrigeration. So I like to give it a little bit longer. I'll give it a day or 2, and then you could go through and portion it. When you slice it, it's going to be, you can cut whatever thickness you want, and it's just going to be one solid piece of meat. Which is it's the strangest thing, but it's pretty cool, and it saves you some money, makes a great product, and you get to impress your friends and have a great dinner. So hopefully I'll be coming back to you guys with an update of when I actually slice and cook the product. You'll have to see for yourself that it works. It's going to be really cool. So thanks for watching, and oh, I should add, the transglutenase can be purchased online pretty much anywhere. I'm sure you can get it on eBay even. So it's not too expensive, and a little goes a long way. So really, this, I just happen to have some. I'm a professional chef, I guess, and ordered some for a restaurant. But I just happen to have some at home also. So, but anybody can do this. It's not science, it's science, but it's not like you don't have to be a scientist to do it, and you can have fun doing it, and you can just try different things. I encourage you to go out there and start fusing meats together. But thanks for watching, and I'll be back to you with a video on cooking this product. Thank you.